Good morning, everybody. This is Kimberly from Journal Breeze, and thank you for coming and joining me today for a few minutes. I am going to bring you just like a overall look at a variety of little ephemera holders or gift holders, letter holders, special papers, whatever it is that you would want to put inside of these pretty little easy to make in under half an hour booklets. I got the idea because there are so many beautiful papers that are available. I mean, this has been, in my opinion, the most incredible year for printables. I'm just blown away. The beauty is just overwhelming, and I thank each and every designer so very much for coming up with really unique papers for us and purchasing things that then you can copy and we can benefit from, as well as your incredible skills with Photoshop or whatever program you use. I just really love everything that you guys are putting out, and the group I'm going to show today is by no means the only beautiful papers out there at all, but it's what I have and love, so that's what I'm sharing with you today. So I sort of have divided these ephemera holder / booklets into 3 different styles. So I'm going to set them aside in those ways right now so that I can do this as easy for you as possible. I want to start with this one, and I'm starting with this one because it's the most unique one of all. And I say that because it isn't filled with ephemera for ephemera's storage. It's actually, I guess you could say it's a spread all of its own. It tells a little story. If you've been following me, you probably know that I like to tell. My imagination just does it on its own. I don't really try. A story emerges, and then I make decisions for what papers to choose and stuff like that from the story itself. So this sheet of paper is from the Paper Cameo, and I added in their Christmas Pretty Kit, I think it's called, and then I added this, let's see if we can get that to be, lace and song, musical bits and pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4 different pieces of sheet music, and not really gold, but gold colored metal ribbon that I cut way down. It was about that thick, so I cut that way down, and I put little shimmer. Let's see if I have that here to show you. No, but it's a little shimmer bottle, and I put it in the side of every single star. Can you see that? Each star has got its own little. Well, it really does add texture, and it looks really good on the page when you're in person. And then I put gold netting, sparkly netting behind the music. Under here is snow, so I wasn't really covering anything up. And I also stitch around the outside edge of each one of these little booklets. And in this case, I used a gold thread. So this one, as I say, isn't just for storing ephemera. There's a story here, but first let me show you that this is simply a rip of this side of the page. That's all it is. It just ripped it out. And this is this, printed I think in 5x7. So, folded the edges under inside and the bottom, cut a larger V, and voila. So my story is that this is a love letter from a man whose woman lives in another country. They both live in Europe, and they live in 2 different countries. And they rendezvous at the Hotel Burgundy. So he's writing her about their last time together and how special and meaningful that was to him. And this continues to carry on the French theme. This is a Tracy Fox tag, and this is just beautiful. I love the tassels. They remind me of trim in France, and the lace here. So this is actually a paper by Rachel at Roxy Creations, and she has a video on this quite a long time ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, where you print out her letters on tracing paper and then you glue them down to book paper, and that way the book page shows through. I loved it. I thought that was really a great idea. I love font. And then this is another piece of paper in the kit from Nicola, Written in the Stars. That's what led me to make up the story about the romance that at this point in their life has to be here and there. So that is one way. You could put a gift card, poetry you wrote, maps that are special to you. You could do anything in cutting up the edges. And then this has a pocket on the side. And this is a Christmas tag that I made. It's pretty dimensional. This is a clear stamp. I stamped that with rubber stamp. This is the embossed paper, of course. And the tag is by Pink Monarch. So when you want to have a pocket, my suggestion is that you don't glue the two papers together. You can, in fact, I don't glue the two pieces of paper together for any of my pieces, even when there's no pocket. I put a little bit of glue stick here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and a little bit here, just to hold it together before I sew. And first I sew the top paper so I can get this edge sewn, and then I also sew the top edge of the paper in the back before I glue on the pocket. Then I put them together, I hold them with a paper clip, and then the glue stick I told you about, but not on this front page, obviously it'd be back here. And then I go around the whole thing. So there's no glue, and it just keeps it nice and light. It's very flexible. I really think it's a good way to go and not a problem. There's a little bit of buckle here on the one that has the pocket on the front, and even when there isn't a pocket, there's a little bit of a buckle, but it's not much, and the pocket actually kind of fills it up if you put in more than just one tag. So there you go. So that is as simple as it is. It couldn't be any simpler. So moving forward, I'll share with you some others that I made also with a pocket. This is primarily from Souvenir de la France. I put this picture in the center of this print that has the La Broderie, their embroidery newsletter-like magazine. And I use elastic in most cases. I just tie a simple knot that can be untied and retied as it grows, because there's so much more room to go in all of these. They're pretty packed up, and there's still a ton of room. I also put muslin on the edge just to kind of, add another element. They're so fun to create on that really you don't have to have a reason for everything. You can just do it. So this one I made is a little bit taller than all of the others. So if you wanted to put one of these into a journal, you could, but this one would stick out. And I just did it just for a change. And I did that by layering 4 pieces of paper so I could turn over the edges and have it look, have that interesting look at the top. And then I added another piece of book paper. This one is lower, so it's showing down here, but then of course can't make it to the top of that one. This is a plain piece of beige paper, and of course another book page. And this is a piece of aged regular plain typewriter paper. And I cut out this because I just think it's such a pretty, it's called serpentine design, and put some lace on here, and this is polka dot fabric, and this cute little picture. That's from Ida Jane Designs, Chapter 1 papers. So that's it. Simple as can be. And then the pocket, oh, doesn't have a pocket. What am I saying? No pocket on this one. So I didn't even stitch. Oh, interesting. I guess because it had this border, I didn't really, and I made this fancy outer edge, I decided not to stitch it. Huh! So I had to have glued it if I didn't stitch it. Yeah. I make a lot of things, you guys. I can't keep it all in mind, and it's not as important to keep in mind as other things I do. So forgive me. We'll just learn together what I've made, right? Yeah, so that worked out well with it being glued. But I can tell you right now, I probably used Beacon 123 because it's my favorite. And I basically just put it on the edges and just do a little dab inside. I'm not a heavy gluer. And then inside, I sort of have a guideline for each one. Sometimes I'm matching the ephemera to what the paper is on the outside. That's how the whole thing got started, actually. But then when I started making more of them, I didn't, necessarily have enough ephemera to only match the cover. So then I decided, okay, let's make one side, stipulate kind of what goes on one side and stipulate in terms of color or theme or size, just something to guide the way that I put it in. So obviously that's what I did here, mostly greens, mostly pictures, mostly just neutrals and not pictures. And that's it. And then this one, I believe, is the second one I ever made. And it's a good example of how much space you have inside. There's just a ton of space. Way more could fit in here. So really, just one normal size piece of paper is quite enough. Oh, this fell off. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. This fell off. Oh, it fell off of this. Okay, hold on. Let me just put that on there. Okay. This one I used a Tim Holtz Embrace Imperfection. And look at this beautiful piece. This is from a recent kit by Paper Cameo. And this is a Raphaelite picture. Raphaelite woman, painted by many different artists in the Raphaelite movement. And the colors are just incredible. And even though I've cut it up and used it in other ways, I just wanted to be able to see the whole thing without having it be smaller or in pieces. So this one I filled with papers from different people, mostly the Paper Cameo, and I think Ida Jane is the other one that I mostly filled it with. And these are also in the same kit by the Paper Cameo, but I turned these on their side so that they really would be this. I'm talking about these. So this would really be this way, and this would really be this way. So they were tall, but didn't go very close to the middle. And what I've determined in making these is that you want to have a pretty stable base. So going toward the middle as far as you can reasonably so that it can still shut comfortably is something to keep in mind. And then the background is another paper from the Paper Cameo, quite a few kits ago. But, look how much that's holding. Just a ton. And, it's so beautiful to look at. And I do really value beauty, having beauty in our surrounding. It might just be momentary beauty like a vase of flowers. It might be beauty that we look at in a 5 square inch place. It doesn't mean that you have a room full of beauty. It just is a place where you can lay your eyes and just experience all the different elements that make it beautiful to you. So if I never pulled a piece of ephemera out of here, I would enjoy this piece, opening up and looking at it myself, because I love the edges, the flush of colors, the abundance that this reminds me of. I love this background paper here. And there you go. So think about just doing it for the sake of beauty, even if you don't have any other purpose in mind. And this is another picture from the Raphaelite era, which is in the late 1800s, started in England, and born out of a philosophy, actually. And I just love this picture. I think I've shared this before and explained that it's actually a picture of a woman who's an angel. On the original artwork, she has great big wings that are behind her. And I stamped thankful, grateful, blessed on here because I feel like that's what she's thinking, that she's praying or meditating on how thankful she is for, everything that she is involved with, and how grateful she is for her health and what she has in her family and friends and job and everything else that matters to her, and that she knows she's blessed. And I love this picture. This is by Ida Jane Designs, and it's a beauty. And on the other side, I put a piece of paper from the Chapter 1 collection called French Country, which I'm going to show you. 3 I made of that collection. And I just felt like the back was a little too specific to maybe Christmas or something. So I had backed it with this other paper, which I love. So, and then 3 little hearts on a globe pin, simple. And I added this label that says Creative Soul. I don't remember where this came from. I love the font. I love everything about it. So hopefully I'll come across it and I'll know who it is so I can copy it again. But I know I bought it, and it would be somebody on Etsy most likely. And then I put the back paper on the inside as well. And these papers are also from French Country. And this is washi that I've printed out from Chapter 1's different washi collections. And I printed this washi not on the side that you're supposed to print it on. So, I don't know. I don't know if I can take the paper off and have it stick. I have no idea. I did the same thing on that one. Crazy, crazy. But they're pretty, and I can use that side without having to worry about the plastic being on the back, assuming it sticks. Here's what it looks like when it's got the plastic on it. It's a bit too shiny for me. I don't really like it. I bought 2 of them, and they both don't look that good to me, actually. And then these are all from the French Country kit. It's a newer kit that they brought out this fall, so you might check that out. Beautiful. This is their embroidery kit. Recent. These are French Country. So it's cute. It's a really cute kit. It's got a lot of variety. Pages are quite different from the ephemera. So a lot is there. And I just, like I said, cut it so that you brought it as close to the middle as you could, basically. And I made these symmetrical. I didn't do that on everything, but I liked this scallop edge here. So I cut it along that. But you'll see I have others that are asymmetrical, and those are really good too. And this one too just has just a lot of space. And you saw how much I put in there. So this could be a spine, pretty wide spine, and still close. This is from a kit by Heather at rubyandpearl.com. It's called Paris Salon, and this one, her booklet, her kit has the booklet cover, I think 2 different colors, and then the pages that go within it. So the whole thing is smaller. You really can't make it to a full page. So I printed it out in the size that she has in the kit, and then I sewed it on top of a full-size piece of paper, which I printed on both sides, knowing that it would show. This is from her kit also, different kit. And then I turn this into a pocket. Wonderful people. And again, I made these all people. I feel it is good for organization. Well, except for a flower. It's good for organization if you kind of come up with a theme for each bundle, like the bundle that goes in the pocket, or the bundle that you have on the right side or the left side. If you sort of know that that's where the women are, then it helps you find it when you go to it, and also when you're putting things back. This is a button. Did I put a pocket back here? No. This is a button that I coffee dyed. I wonder if you can see that. It is a flower that was imprinted on this button. It's an old button, probably 1920s. And with the coffee on it, it outlined the flower so that you could see it even more. Previously, you could barely see it unless you really look closely. So the coffee did a lot to help it. But I like to use coffee on white buttons all the time. So I'll show you some of those coming up. So you can see it's like a little bit wavy. And so I put this button and clip to hold this in so it wouldn't fall out. And then inside I used another one of Heather's wonderful pages. There was a lot of writing under here, you can see, and so I covered it with another picture. And then I put more women's pictures, girls' pictures in this side, added a Tracy label, put this picture from one of Heather's kits, and then this is the other side of this inner sheet, just beautiful. I think it's from her last year's autumn kit. And then these beautiful pieces of her letters. She has a kit that has these, has pieces of these just that size, so you can just have automatic ephemera. It's a great kit. You have to look at her pages, because honestly I don't remember. It's in another one. Maybe it's in the small one. I'm not sure. And this I love. I think it was a gift. I think it might have been from Past in Pages. Donna. Okay. And then we have the back. So that could not be easier. I mean, sew this onto there, double-sided, printed, put a pocket, put a paper clip, voila. I mean, people, simple. And this could easily be in a journal. I mean, you probably already do this and you don't even think about it this way. All right, so now we're getting into all French country kit and more of my coffee dyed button. Yeah, it was like that, and now it's like that. And I picked blue, of course. This is a wonderful sheet of paper out of that kit. Just love it. I stitched all the way around. And then this is a piece of paper from that kit, and I just cut along the loops and then filled it with ephemera from the kit. These are the larger pieces of ephemera. The other one I showed you had smaller pieces. It's a cute kit. It's very 20s, 30s, very 30s, and just fun. By putting them in a kit like this, where you can see them all together, when you go in for one thing, you can, find several others that match, and that makes it really easy to decorate journals. Also, I might not really have any idea what I want, so I just go in here to take a look at what's available, and then I might get a couple pieces out of it that I had forgotten about. So I like this idea a lot. Fun to make and fun and useful to use. This is another one from that same kit, that same 1930s type of dress print. This would be a dress print. I did this open like this so that if you were to, it has some small ephemera, you could tuck it in there. Or if you're busy working and you don't have time to actually figure out where to put it, you could just stuff it here to hold it for you until you're done. And then I cut out very large pockets on this booklet. Same thing on this side. And I put, this is a CD envelope I purchased, coffee dyed actually, and I copied a lot of my antique fabrics, cut them into shapes, and put them in here. And then I glued in another piece of paper from the kit so that you wouldn't see the inside of the other paper. It's easier just to double print on the paper that you have inside, but I didn't. And back here, I took a regular bank envelope. This is a Tim Holtz stamp and a couple of stamps, the same stamp that I have in my stash. And this is washi tape. And these are the little tiny pieces that, I might want to use in this kit. So it just slides in there, keeps everything in place. This paper clip I clip onto here, and then I push it in, and then I remember it's there. It's easy when it falls back to forget. So this one's big enough it can't fall back enough. And then in here, more of the kit from French Country, and I put in a lot of these textile tags, different colors of them. These I mostly get from Sam Poole and Lisa and Olive, Souvenir de la France. Several people have them. Probably Ruby and Pearls are in here. So, yeah. And then I cut this one unevenly for a change, and it kind of followed this line. Just whatever you feel like doing. It's so fun to just create for the sake of creating and not having any other agenda. That's my favorite way to create. And then we finally have this one. Again, another coffee dyed button. And on this one I used fabric, did faux hinges, and I put fabric on the inside or outside edge of the inside piece, primarily because I knew I wanted to have 2 pieces of elastic going over it, and I just thought, well, it looks good and it just adds some more protection. This one I also cut a super large pocket hole here, but I didn't do it with a decal cutter. I did it with the scissors, so it was even. And of course I sewed around the edge. And then this is the back. And you can see the muslin without that elastic a little bit better. And then on the inside, this is actually what I cut in order to get the pockets on the last one. I cut right along there, and then I put this like this. Okay, so I put this like this to get those pockets. And then this is another piece of paper from the kit. And I opted to put vintage looking receipts in this piece. So that's what these are. I've, aged them, folded them. They're ready to go. Well, that one's not. For the most part, they're ready to go. So that's that. And then in the pocket, book pages, mostly other languages. And then this typewriter picture, which is so cute. And they're just in there loose because of the big pocket. I can see them, and because they're old book pages, they don't slip. They kind of grab onto each other, so I know they're there. And on the front, these are from one of those boxes, Studio U box or something like that you get monthly. I got it for a couple months, and I keep forgetting to use them, so I thought, well, if I put them in here, hopefully I'll remember. So that's my collection. I literally have them, except for the Christmas one. I have them on my shelf, and I memorize what's in what, and I just pick one out, or I pick 2 out, and I pull from them. So I really recommend that you take your favorite printables and do a fun holder like this that's freestanding. Great gift, great happy mail. There's so many things you could do with it. Thank you so much for joining me today. If I don't see you before the holidays, please have a wonderful, really a Christmas to remember always. And take time out for yourself. Take time to breathe and be with your own thoughts. Maybe do a little journaling about your intentions for next year. And also recognize the people you love and those who love you. You are loved. You are cared about. I'm very grateful that you're in this community. I appreciate each and every one of you and the ways that you've shared with me through your art and through comments and DMs. It's all just been a wonderful year getting to know so many more of you. Thank you for everything. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.